There's a lot of ways that you could go about where to start on an episode like this, and I just couldn't help but think the best place to begin with tonight's episode is just a reminder of what many would say the definition of insanity is, which is doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting the same results or expecting different results. And I say that because, in a lot of ways, that is what happened this weekend in Chapel Hill for Tennessee's baseball team. Was a lot of insanity, where the same problems that you knew you were having all season suddenly were, you know, or not suddenly, but they came back, and it didn't yield much different results for the baseball team, and they lost in 2 games. And so tough break. You hate to see it, but it is what it is. And welcome to the Rocky Top Rundown. This is gonna it's a mournful but joyful episode, I guess. With me as always is Logan. Logan, how we feeling?
Yeah, it's weird, right? Because it's like, what is it? What is it? What's the saying? Like, don't cry because it's over, smile because it happened.
Right.
I think, I think we're smiling that it's over and crying because it happened. Like, because this season happened. Like,
Uh,
I mean, to be honest with you,
I hate that I don't want to tell you that you're wrong.
like, I think we both told each other this weekend, and I love Tennessee sports, and like I've lived through the bad. I've lived through the bad, and this baseball team wasn't even like bad. I mean, they won
No.
almost 40 games. They went 500 in the SEC. Like, were they as good as the what they have been? No, but I mean, they really only like 3 games worse in the conference than they were last year. So it wasn't like they were too far off from last year. But this year was just miserable. Like it had spurts of fun. Like the last 6 weeks were better and things like that. But
Yeah.
you and I told each other multiple times this weekend, like at least it's almost over.
Yeah.
And like this was the opposite of basketball. Like I told you on this pod a few weeks ago that I was just going to try to like enjoy watching the games, but I had no expectations, and that was pretty much what it was. And unlike basketball, like they didn't crank it on in postseason play.
No, they did not.
Um,
Probably
so
got an unfavorable draw. The more
well, they got
that the more I dove into the pitching staffs, the more I was like, actually. And after we recorded, it was too late. But hindsight's 2020. But it was clear that this was going to be a pitching regional, and I don't know that that played into Tennessee's favor.
well 3 of the 4 teams in the regional were the top pitching teams in their conference.
Yeah.
So
Which one wasn't, Logan?
oh boy. So it just kind of is what it is. Like now, the worst part is that um, unless you're into volleyball, we don't have any Tennessee athletics until
Timeout.
September.
Timeout. After what Karen Weekly and her team did
Oh, you're right.
to
My fault.
to Texas
Yeah. That
Tech,
one's on me.
that is
Uh,
100% on
that one's
you.
on me.
You wear
That one's
that.
on me. You're right. I'll take that one.
Softball team plays Monday night for a
You're.
opportunity to go to the College World Series championship series.
I got bad news for you, brother. Lady Vols softball in Oklahoma City is like Tennessee football in the swamp. I'm just telling you. And I
We'll see.
understand that they won in the swamp this year, but this year was special circumstances. Because Florida was butt booty terrible.
Well, hey, listen.
But like,
Tennessee softball has, a classless coach that talks trash to players that transfer out, and
did you see ESPN proved it wrong? They showed it on
oh
the air
yeah,
today.
yeah. I
It was
mean,
awesome.
there's Karen Weekly is too seasoned of a coach to make a statement like that. So
Yeah, that was
I didn't buy into that for 1 second. So,
yeah, that was
but
irritating.
it was the fact that it went
But
on as long as it did, and ESPN had to go TMZ style on it.
nah,
It was brutal. But back to the actual topic at hand. So Tennessee, let's just recap it real quick. Open up with Eastern Carolina, and they go into extras. Logan go into 14 innings, and funny enough, Tennessee actually had less runners left on base than Eastern Carolina. But Tennessee goes out there and I mean, there was multiple opportunities where Tennessee had a runner on second and or third with I think one out and could not get the job done.
Yeah.
And so they end up going and getting into the fourth inning or 14th inning. They give up 4 runs to East Carolina. I mean, the bullpen just did what the bullpen's done all season and wasn't reliable enough. And in a moment like that, bullpen as a whole, because I think you can only ride Bo Rudy for as long as you did, but he was great for his stint. He looked like Bo Rudy of old. And Cam Appenzeller went in, and he wasn't. He couldn't produce towards the end of the game, and it just ultimately it just wasn't enough for all around.
Well, here's the frustrating part is that your biggest issue this year has really been your bullpen and your pitching. Your starting pitching has been really good, but we'll just say pitching in general. Your pitching was good enough to win both games.
You're right.
To be frank,
and the bullpen was good enough.
Even the implosion by Brady Frederick and Mark Hindy, like ECU got you out of that jam by trying to steal home.
Yeah.
And it sucks. If he doesn't give up those 2 runs, then you probably win that game. But still, it's one of those things where your bullpen was actually good enough. Your offense just picked it the worst time possible to have its worst weekend since Kentucky.
Yeah.
Your offense is really what let you down. Like we talked about it. Their defense was really pretty good this weekend. Couple errors, but no errors. They never didn't give any runs on the errors.
Right.
Your starting pitching, Blanco was really good. Arvidsson was good. He made one mistake. A solo home run shouldn't beat you, to be honest with you.
Correct.
App wasn't great, but by that point, the game was it was just kind of implosion in that game anyways. It is what it is. Right. Bo Rudy was phenomenal. It was literally just, you went 1 for 17 with runners in scoring position over the 2 games.
Yeah.
And this was another thing, and I know you slightly disagree with me on this, but this was another thing of, it seemed like in multiple situations, now Elander pushed the right buttons and players didn't execute. And now we'll get into it. I think I don't know why Elander brought in Frederick and Hindy when he did. I thought that makes no sense to me.
Right.
But I hear what you and other people are saying with
timeout. If you're going where I think you're going, I told you I don't have a problem with it. My problem. So go ahead.
No, I got you. I people are so mad about number one having Reese Chapman bunt to get runners on second and third.
Yeah, no,
that's a fine call.
Yeah,
because now he's been hitting great. Don't get me wrong. He also has a tendency to roll the ball over. Now all of a sudden he rolls over and you're in a double play. You got runner on third, 2 outs.
Correct.
So now he gets a perfect butt down, second and third, 1 out. People are mad that Manny Barron bunted, which was really a perfect call because ECU does it in the next inning and they execute it
and win the game with it. Or no, they didn't.
No, we tied it.
That's right.
But, and I get what you're saying. You wish it was on the first pitch and the second pitch, not just the second pitch.
Right.
But he's also a really good bunter. And so you have confidence that he's going to get it down.
He being Manny Marin.
Yes, he being Manny Marin. But on the flip side of that, he's a really good bunter. So if he doesn't get it down the first time, he's probably getting it down the second time. So you really take 2 opportunities to do it.
Yeah.
So I get it both ways. But this just felt like another weekend of outside that the pitching with putting Frederick in and then Hindy in yesterday. This just felt like another situation of Elander pushing buttons that really should have been right. And guys just didn't execute, man.
100%.
Henry Ford had a big swing against ECU. He did. But in an elimination game, Henry Ford and Blake Grimmer going.
Include Greidlinger in that because he wasn't good.
Well, no, Greidlinger went 2 for 4, 2 for 5. He was 2 for 2 to start the game.
Yeah, you're right.
But
I got to read stats better.
Ford, Grimmer, and Levi Clark, I think, went a combined 1 for 14 with 7 strikeouts.
Yeah.
Or 9 strikeouts. It was something like that. You're not beating anybody. I don't care if it's ECU, and ECU is a good baseball program, anyways. I'm sorry, this was against VCU though, but that's still. They're in the tournament. They're not that bad of a team. You're not going to beat tournament teams when, quite frankly, I realized Levi didn't have the year he wanted, even though he was much, much, much better in SEC play. When your what was supposed to be your 3 big guns,
mm-hmm.
do that, you're not beating anybody.
Yeah. No, I mean it. Overall, the offense wasn't good enough, and yeah, I think the bunting in that situation like made sense. Get you get two runners on with no outs, move them around because you have two outs to play with. The biggest thing was, with Manny bunting. I I don't know with as quick as he is, you would have been in a position with bases loaded if he had bunted the first, like, you bunt on the first pitch, he misses, he gets the next one down. I don't, even if they're playing the bunt, I don't think they would have been stupid enough to throw to first. Like, I think they would have just protected home, because if they did throw to first, then you've got your third base runner with a fantastic opportunity to get home.
Oh
And
yeah, well, I mean,
so,
yeah, I mean, they would have had to throw it home because it was the game. Like they lose if they don't go
correct.
home, so
That's
they're
that's
going home. Yeah,
That's what I'm saying, is that I don't know that they would have thrown to first at all. Like, I think they probably would have just ate it and been at home. So now you're in a position with bases loaded with one out. Now double play still in
well,
effect
you
there.
wouldn't. But no, if he gets the button down, you're coming home. So it's either out at home or the game's over. Like there's
Right,
no
but
bases loaded.
correct. But I'm saying, like, if the bunt, if yeah, you're right. But still, I don't understand. Like, I did not understand the swing first. And
Yeah,
with as good of a bunter as Manny is, because when he swung, I was like, okay, maybe it was something where I went back to, was that Wright State where Manny was
right
up
state where he
in a
pulled it back and
position.
hit it for
Yeah,
the walk off.
he showed bunt, and so I was like, oh, maybe it's gonna be something like that. And then he swung. I was like, okay, so he's gonna read, but then it was a bunt the entire way on the second pitch. And I was like, all right, well, this doesn't make any sense at all, because now had he gotten it down, been like, oh, great, all this stuff, whatever, but he didn't. And then you're putting your most aggressive, highest chase rate in the SEC batter in a position down 0-2 in a clutch moment. Of course he's going to chase a pitch in the dirt. I literally told my wife he's going to chase something in the dirt here. It wasn't in the dirt, but it was well below his knees.
Yeah,
And you strike out there, which is the one thing you didn't need to do. Like, put the ball in play and see what happens at the minimum, but you don't even give yourself an opportunity. And that's just one situation. There's another where, and Elander, he did what he could to win the game. And it came back to bite him, because what he didn't work. And now you're in positions where I think you had Tyler Myatt up with the runner on at one point instead of Trent Grindlinger, who's been one of your most consistent bats all season. And again, you did it in a position to win the game earlier. Like, you made a substitution to win the game earlier, because I want
which
to say
was
it
the
was a
right call.
right. You swapped out a
Yeah,
base runner, so it makes sense, because had it worked back in whatever inning it was, you wouldn't have been
yeah,
in that position. And so it's things like that where I saw people kind of ripping Elander for those decisions. Like, what else is he going to do? And
yeah.
it's the most Tennessee thing ever to have random guys for both teams you play to have incredible pitching performances. You know,
Like a guy with a +7 ERA come in and throw two
correct.
basically shutdown innings. Yeah,
Which, and part of that too is that now, yeah, overall the offense just wasn't good enough to win. Defense, like, I, I think it was good enough. There wasn't like a ton of, man, that was a bad mistake there or anything like that. It was tough not having Blaine Brown in the lineup, even though he wasn't consistent all year, didn't really produce anything. Not having him in the lineup against VCU in the second game, that kind of sucked, but I understood what Elander was doing, and trying to move guys around, give yourself the best position to win. But
yeah.
it just, at the end of the day, some of the same things that have been the issues with this team presented themselves again across these two games, and it felt a lot like the Kentucky series, like the Vanderbilt series, like the series that they lost. They didn't have a Sunday game to fall back on and look good on and not get swept to play. Like, they, you know, it just, at the end of the day, it wasn't good enough. And I
Yeah.
texted you this, against Eastern Carolina, you had plenty of opportunities to win the game and you let them go. You like I said, there was at least two times you had runners. I know for a fact there was two times you had runners on second and third with one out and didn't get the game winning run. There was multiple
Correct.
times where you had runners on second. You had a runner on second. You had a runner in scoring position and didn't get him home. Like you said, one for 17 across the weekend with runners in scoring position. That's never ever gonna be good
Yeah,
enough.
not good enough.
And it's also one of those things too, where how many home runs were just barely foul ball. I mean, Reese hit that one against VCU that when they were down two in the eighth, I believe, that on a windier day probably stays fair and is a home run. So
Yeah,
it's things like that where there were some bad breaks, but ultimately this team didn't have it. And in some ways, it felt like basketball in the sense of they the holes were obviously there, and you knew when they lost that this was going to be why.
yeah,
But
sure.
I think the difference is part of it is a sports, but I think also part of it is just that they got a really unfortunate matchup, and the offense just disappeared. And it sucks. There's no there's no other way to put it. On paper, I stand by what I said at the beginning of the year, and kind of what you said too. On paper, this team should have been in a super. They just didn't execute well enough at a lot of points this season, and I was thinking about how in prior years the margin for this team was much wider because of what the offense could do at any given moment.
Sure.
But the margins were so much smaller this year as a whole, and it cost them. They didn't do enough to stay within the margins, and it caused you to lose some games. And so, if you're here for a hate listen, I'm sorry. We're I don't know how much we can't spend another 20 minutes saying the same thing we've said over multiple podcasts about baseball, because it has been a lot of the same thing. But we appreciate you being here. Make sure you like, subscribe, rate, share it, all the things. It really costs you nothing but maybe a second of your time, but it helps us tremendously. And so we appreciate all the support we've got up to this point, and going forward. And so, Logan, is there anything else you want to discuss about this year?
No, I mean, I'm intrigued by tomorrow, which this is not discussing this year. This is looking to the future, but I'm intrigued by tomorrow. The portal stuff starts in earnest tomorrow. Um, you know, I think so. I'm curious to see what Tennessee kind of prioritizes in the portal. Like, you're losing three big time bats in your lineup with Grimmer. More than I mean, Grimmer's gonna get drafted high enough where he's gone. Um, Ford and Reese Chapman. Those three middle of the order bats. I'm sure they're gonna go find a big time bat in the line or in the portal. Try to. You got to get starting pitching. You know, assuming Mac or Appenzeller doesn't leave, because you just don't know now in the portal nowadays.
Right.
That's two. That's probably two guys that are in your starting rotation next year. So I imagine they're going to try to go get a third guy out of the portal. And then obviously you got to revamp the bullpen. And like, what do you do? Like, you've for years been power arm, power arm, power arm, and so this year, before Tony and Frank left, their big thing was they wanted to get some different looks, change velocities, have more movement, arm angles, things like that. It didn't work. Now, that doesn't mean
No.
it couldn't work in the future again, but like, it did not work. And in this league, the best bullpens have power arms, and you really didn't have a power arm.
No.
I know Bo Reedy was a whole lot better, and that spin rate makes it play different, but it was still only like 93, 94. Like, you got to go get a couple guys that are 98, 99, triple
Yeah.
digits. So,
Yeah.
you're even the bullpen. And then what do you do in the middle infield? Do you go get a middle infielder maybe?
I think you're gonna have to,
Oh,
because I don't. I'll be shocked if Ariel stays.
yeah, but would Errol stay knowing that it's his job to lose?
Well, that's true too. I mean, I would.
Because
I would love for him to stay. He is a piece that obviously you don't give him whatever number he's asking for. But if he asks for a number, you try to match it within reason, because he's too good defensively. And you would hope after another offseason you can bring his bat along, similar to how Manny's was last year, and he was overall better this year.
yeah, but I mean, and he's gone. That's somebody who's gone.
Correct.
Manny's gone because could Manny use another year of college ball? Yeah, probably, but apparently Manny doesn't like school.
Who
So
does?
Yeah. So, and he doesn't really do the whole school thing, so I'm sure he's going to be gone.
Yeah.
And you have options. I mean, you've got Ethan Moore, who you didn't even think was going to make it to campus last year, and he redshirted this year. Um, you know, you don't know who else is coming in from the high school ranks and things like that. So I'll be
Right.
curious to see what they do with the middle infield. But the one I'm hoping that would stay, and I know he's probably not, was Garrett Wright's got another year of eligibility. I would love for Garrett Wright to stay, but I have a feeling Garrett Wright's going to be drafted because of his versatility.
Yeah.
He gets on base.
Yeah.
So and if he doesn't go this year, he loses all his leverage.
Right.
So in negotiating with pay after he gets drafted. So he's probably gone. So I don't know. I think I'll just be curious to see how they kind of build that roster. Like, I mean, you hope.
Do you think Myatt and Lawless come back?
I think Lawless probably would. I think you want Lawless to come back. Tyler Myatt, I'm not. If Tyler Myatt comes back, that's great.
Right.
But I'm telling you right now, I can hit spin better than Tyler Myatt, and that's saying something because I can't hit spin. So like if he rolls like that, just kind of is what it is. I mean, the projection was there in JUCO. I mean, he mashed in
Yeah.
JUCO, and it just hadn't translated. But then it had translated for a lot of guys. So,
Right.
um, but like hopefully Lawless is back. Maybe not. Maybe Lawless goes for a fresh start, considering the fact that you have Grindlinger and Levi Clark that can catch. Um, but Lawless is a good teammate. He handles the pitchers well. Like there's a reason he stayed in the lineup as long as he did.
Yeah.
And he was really good for you yesterday.
Yeah.
So, um, but I just think you need to do what you can to keep Clark, keep Grindlinger, keep somebody
Happy.
who I'm forgetting. Appy, yeah, but fielders right now.
Oh, just feel
Keep
so sorry.
Clark, Grindlinger,
If he
probably
stays,
Abernathy.
yeah, I was gonna say I would keep Abernathy. He's too good. If again, you'd hope another offseason helps his batting and he's able to get on base more because I loved him as leadoff. He just
Yeah,
his bat cooled off as the year went along.
yeah. So, I don't know. It'll be very very interesting to see what they do in the portal. I think.
Yeah, no, I think I mean all the reports say they're going after big bats and big arms because I mean that's
Yeah.
what you missed. You didn't have a guy that you didn't have your Andrew Fisher, your Blake, not Burke, yeah, Blake Burke. Sorry,
Blake Burke,
uh,
yeah,
you didn't have that kind of guy in the lineup this year that you knew could get you a home run when needed. Neither one of those guys were necessarily on command, but they were patient enough and worked through the at bats strong enough that they could get one if needed.
yeah.
So and then yeah, I'll be. I think I'm more interested to see who they let walk versus who they go get because it's like
Mm-hmm.
they're going to be able to go get essentially whoever they want at this point with what the program is with the
Well, you would hope.
resources. Right, with
I
the
think you're gonna find
resources.
out now how valuable. I mean, you know how valuable Tony Vitello is, but like
Right,
he was kind of your closer. He was your ace in the hole in recruiting. Like Elander had a big
right,
deal to do with it. But like, get Elander close? That's what it's gonna be interesting.
right. Well, and you would think that Elander and with the staff that he has, he should be able to. That would be the other thing I'm interested to see. Is Josh Reynolds still around? Is does he stick around? Obviously, we talked about how statistically the pitching wasn't that bad. It was actually better than what you would expect. But is there a change at that coaching position? Do you go get someone else? Does Elander have someone in mind? Because there was like murmurs at one point that the Josh Reynolds hire wasn't necessarily Elander's decision. That it was kind of he was kind of told that Josh Reynolds was coming. I don't know how true that is because with everything that's gone on between Tony and uh, the AD, I just blanked on his name, Danny White. Who knows what's actually true and things like
Sure.
that. So because there are people saying that Elander had a short leash and because uh, Danny White didn't want to hire him, he was forced, whatever, blah blah blah. So I think it'll be interesting to see who they let walk more so than who they bring in, just because I think that I like I said, I think they can go get whoever they want within reason. I don't think they're going to overspend things like that, but I think with I think with what they have built already, it's gonna speak for itself. And like I said, yeah. And it's also what recruits, because I think they've only lost one recruit through this process, maybe two. I know of one, but like how many recruits are getting to campus? How many high school guys are going to get to campus? How many high school guys are going to the draft? Because before Tony was able to convince some guys to stay. Similar to it's recruiting, it's the portal but different. How many of those guys can you convince to get to campus? So I'm very intrigued to see. You kind of went through. Are there any other pitchers that you say they need to keep outside of Appenzeller?
Appenzeller, I mean, you would like Landon Mack to stay.
Right.
Appenzeller, Landon Mack. I refuse. I'm not giving up on Braden Krenzel. I'm just not. Like it was just a bad year. Like it is what it is. I'd like Krenzel to stay.
Yeah.
And then outside of that, yes, Jackson Estes is recovering from Tommy John. He should be good to go next year. So like he'll be fun. But like specifically guys that pitched this year, Mack, Appenzeller, Krenzel are the three big ones. And then like
Yeah.
you know Nick Abraham, Taylor Tracy, which Tracy's a two-way guy, so I don't know if he'll move to more of a positional thing
Right.
next year. But like Nick Haas. So yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, you go ahead and keep those guys. They've got experience.
Yeah.
But as far as I'm concerned, Brady Frederick can walk. He can go. There's somebody else who I'm forgetting. But yeah, so yeah, no, there's a handful of guys, and just try to build around them.
Yeah. And I can't believe neither one of us said his name, but keep Blade Brown. You got to keep him.
Yeah,
Blaine
I'm curious to
Blaine.
see what happens there.
I think they'll be able to keep him because it's not like he had a productive enough year to go command a big NIL
Yeah,
package from somewhere else. And so
yeah,
I think his best opportunity to the big leagues is still at Tennessee, and I think that they'll be able to pitch that to him. And again, I think another year, I'll be interested too to see, you know, the offense. Obviously, it has been on a downward trajectory since 2024, which we've talked about this. It's not fair to compare any teams to 24 and 2022, but last year you took a dip in comparison. This year you took another dip in comparison. So I'll be interested to see, is it bats? Is it getting better bats in the lineup? Do they go hunt that? Or is there some internal work that needs to be done within the coaching and development that gets talked about?
I mean,
So
but I mean, you look at it too. Your sports performance coach, so basically your strength coach,
who is a major league guy?
and your hitting coach didn't get their jobs till November and December.
Yeah,
You're through fall ball by then.
right.
You know, so now you got a full year, a full off season, everything. Like let's figure that. Let's just hold off and see what everything
Correct.
looks like next year after all that.
Correct. And that's I'm not sitting here
No,
saying
yeah,
is
yeah.
it
No, I
panic
know you're not.
time,
Yeah,
but I look at a guy like Blaine Brown. I'm like, another season here, and again, is it fair? Is it not? Don't know. But I mean, the build, how they play, how they hunt for pitches, which Blaine's a little more aggressive. But another year with E, and I think Blaine and Semo there's gonna be a lot of comparisons there. I mean, dude is
wow,
huge.
that is
I'm
bold.
saying I am saying that I
That's
think that the
bold.
the opportunity is there.
Oh no, you're talking about a guy that was. I mean, you're talking about a guy in SEMO that was literally he contributed all 3 years he was on campus.
Right. No, I understand what I'm saying is a big thing. I'm saying I think the comparisons could be there. I did not say they would be. I said I think they could be.
Mm.
Because Blaine, I mean, you watch him and it's just like if you can figure out what to, come out of your shoes to swing at and what not to, then he's going to be an incredible batter. I don't think it has anything to do with his athletic ability. I think it is just purely his decision making at the plate is what has held him back.
Yeah.
And I think that he's got. It's hard to look at Blaine Brown and go, nah, he's not going to amount to anything. Like he's got all the tools to be the next great Tennessee offensive weapon.
Yeah.
So I'm very interested to see what happens there. As far as players that you think are leaving, like I said, I think Ariel Antigua could be one that is a flight risk potentially, just depending on what they tell him. Does he want more money? Does he want to go closer to home? What does all of that look like? Things like that. And I think Chris Newstrom is another that I'll be shocked if he stays.
Yes.
But at the same time, like he looked super engaged in this past weekend
Yeah.
when he was and in the dugout he looked engaged. So maybe there's something there where they're just like, hey, give us another year with you, we can get you going, things like that. Again, it comes down to how much do you want to pay, how much does he want to be paid, things like that. So it's going to be a very interesting offseason for the baseball team. And it's not going to be, I'll be interested to see if it's as high profile as maybe last year's was. But I mean, if there's one
It won't
thing,
be.
it will or
You're not gonna be
won't.
replacing your. It will not be. You're not replacing
Right.
your coach. But
Right.
yeah, but
I
I
mean,
know
I
what
mean,
you're
I
saying.
mean, in the portal,
I know
not
what you're saying.
yeah. I do think that it will. If there's one thing we're starting to see consistently across Tennessee athletics, and it started kind of with baseball. In some ways, basketball has done it too, but football definitely did it this year. Is there's an evaluation process that is currently happening or has been happening all year, things like that. And then when all three of these programs set their eyes on a guy that they want to go get, they're going and getting him. Now, football, I already know if someone's listening, they're like, well, we didn't get Sam Levitt. We didn't get, what's his name at
Yeah.
Texas Tech who's going to jail. And you know what? They didn't. But Sam Levitt still hasn't practiced, and other dude his career's over, Sorensby. So, it's going to end up working out for them. They didn't overpay for a quarterback that could potentially be useless. And so I think it's going to be interesting to see where this team, not this team, where this program, who are they targeting immediately once they have their access to the portal, because they've done it the last couple of years. They've gone and gotten the guys like Blaine was one of them that they were like, yep, he's who we want, and they went and got him and brought him in. So I'll be interested
Yeah.
to see who those signees in the first week or two are, and then obviously what impact they make on the team.
Yeah. You covered it. It will be. It'll be interesting to see. And I mean, it's a big off season, right? Because this was kind of a transition year. It was a little bit of a transition year before Tony left.
Right.
With how many bats you were having to replace in your lineup and things like that. But it'll be. I don't know. You have a good sophomore class this year,
Yeah.
or what should be a good sophomore class this year to build around.
Correct.
And assuming you can keep everybody that you need to keep, anyways, go get you a couple big time players and
Mm-hmm.
what happens.
Yeah. No, you're right. And so it'll be interesting as we put a bow on kind of this baseball season, because it's football talking season now, and we look towards next year. I just want to bring up something that we have discussed a couple times through this baseball season. There are similarities between this team and the 2023 team. Obviously, the big glaring difference is 2023 team got to Omaha. Also, that 2023 team had a pretty good draw. They were able to get out and get out of the regional, get into the super, and then obviously go from there. And that 2023 team was full of guys that were future first-round picks. I don't know that that is the case with this team, but the potential is still there for this team if they can keep that core nucleus together of the pitchers and the bats that they've got, where next year could be a ton of fun to watch. And we're not at this point in 2027 going, thank God the season's over, because I was just done watching baseball. So I just want to remind everyone as we look ahead, like, yes, this year did not go the way that it did, but Elander blew out Tony's record as a first-year head coach, and honestly, like, recruiting is the next step of what is to be seen with
Uh-huh.
Elander. But I think the baseball program is in good hands with Elander
Yeah.
and where things are going. Like we've said a couple times already, and we've said it multiple times this season, he pressed the right buttons it just there's only a handful of times where it's like, hey, buddy, what are you doing? But those are growing pains of a first year head coach. And even then, it wasn't like that those buttons he pressed ruined opportunities.
Yeah. Well, and it's just not really responding to what you said, but I'll just let everybody know that it could be worse. Could be UCLA because Tennessee went as deep into the NCAA tournament this year as UCLA did. UCLA, as the number one national seed, just got walked off by St. Mary's in the 10th to eliminate them.
Wow.
So UCLA didn't make it any deeper, and they were the national number one seed. So
Yeah. That's back to
Rock
back years.
Chalosky and no, they're the first one to no. Oh
No,
yeah, because
Vanderbilt.
Vanderbilt didn't make it out. Yeah,
Back to
yeah,
back years, the number one overall seed doesn't
oh,
make it out of the regional. Crazy.
crazy
Which I guess
baseball, man.
should, it's a great reminder of how difficult this sport is and how the NIL may have positively impacted, like, may have created the most parity in baseball in comparison to other sports. We don't have to dive into it. Chris Newstrom is another opportunities. That's back to back.